Hey there, let's ask our angels, saints, and ancestors and guides into our space to provide love and divine messages for our highest and greatest good. You are surrounded in divine white light, so it is and so it will be. All right, like, share, comment, and subscribe to support our channel. All right, let's see what the messages are for today. I feel like there's something that might be going on in the background. It might have something to do with work or a project or someone on a team dynamic. We'll see. This could be someone of a higher position or someone who makes decisions. Ace of Cups, Justice, and the Magician. Wow. Right out of the gate. Jeez. Huh. Look at this. I love this Ace of Cups picture. Isn't that beautiful? I feel like overflowing with love. Overflowing with just, awareness, right? Healing. This beautiful chalice is just, it's so fulfilling. It's like being fulfilled. It's like the self-love, being able to constantly refill too. It's like reciprocation. And then I have justice. So I feel like there's balance that's happening. And then we have the Magician. And I'm getting there's this like being able to create something from scratch, or having the creative accountability of something, or just manifesting and being in the position to bring something as a thought into manifest. Okay, it's like as above, so below. And then here's the tools in which to do this practice. It's like the also alchemical practice. So you very much could be someone who's like a master alchemist, or you teach alchemy, something here that you're tapping into. It's like ancient wisdom and knowledge. I'm getting that like there could be universal laws that you actually teach. And I feel like you do this for the sake of humanity, love, and for the sake of consciousness, to raise the vibration here. So that's what I'm getting out of these three cards. All right. I feel like something's meant to maybe be developed. Okay. So let's see. There's like some sort of like harmony, balance, injustice being like restored. Look at 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, this is about harmony being restored. People coming back from hardships and how to turn something like very upside down and upsetting into something that, you grow from, you build from, you learn from. It's kind of like learning how to turn this energy right side up. It's fascinating. I feel like there's a mindset shift, right? It's learning the principles, the foundations on how to create in your physical reality, and like what affects your physical reality. And a lot of times it's your mindset. And so it's important that you understand how important your beliefs are, because they manifest, okay? Yeah, I feel like this is like a massive skill set. Like the power behind this is significant. And who represents this is the Magician. And so that's even more significant. And in this deck that I'm using, the Magician is known to be Archangel Michael. Okay? So you might have a strong connection to Archangel Michael. And, I feel like there is balance here that comes with experiencing you or your experiences. I feel like it kind of depends, right? What's meant to be learned, right? And overcome. I'm getting like there was this energy of, healing abandonment wounds even, okay? And working through them and realizing, the way through that is to love yourself, okay? Loving you is really so important in this process and in this earthly experience. Okay, and I feel like that's truly like where your energy is at. And then we have the Lovers. Yeah. So I'm getting like there is this like harmony being restored, and it's the feminine and masculine energy within. So it's kind of like union within. Okay, so without. Okay, it always happens as above, then so below. So I'm getting like this is kind of like being able to heal your abandonment wounds and choose spiritual guidance, and you know the decision making and how that influences things, and choosing what you want to focus on and create here in this physical reality. And instead of like choosing from a place of pain and suffering, you're choosing to create from a place of healing and growth. So I feel like that really does make a difference on what you're gonna experience here. So I feel like there's something that like is being said, watched, understood. Like there's awareness now. Okay, I feel like there's also like people are thinking, right? So it's kind of like maybe even researching, maybe planting things in people's mindset that might cause something to be triggered or remembered or recognized, or something resonates. Okay, so that's what I'm getting with this Page of Swords. Interesting. The Death card. This is like helping people through difficult transitions in the spiritual awakening process. So you might be somebody who's here to help, because there's like the student becomes the master, right? The teacher. This is also the teacher, the magician. So the magician has, you know, a lot of hats. Of course, right? Why wouldn't the magician have a lot of hats? I see the magician as Merlin, right? Think of like a Merlin, very creative, very, you know, adamant about understood concepts. And if you don't understand them, like, let me show you in all the different ways in which I could show you so you understand. There's this like effort of intention. I think that's really important, is how important our intentions are. Okay, when it comes to our energy, I feel like that's also playing out. I feel like that's the lesson here, right? Is how your intentions affect your physical reality. And then I have the Fool. There's this like walking by faith, right? It's almost like being like a guide, a bridge, like a bridge for the in-between here. For those who are on the ascension path and, you know, leaving the 3D to the 5D. And there's this like transition, like soul transitions happening here. You might actually be able to connect with spirit. Like, so you could be a medium, you could be a clairvoyant, might be able to see in other dimensions. You might astral travel, you might remote view. There's a lot of things that I'm getting from this when I'm touching these cards. So again, with the Fool, this is like a new beginning. You know, it's like a new soul's journey. All right. So you might be somebody who kind of helps to guide those on their path. Okay. So Two of Cups, the Devil. All right, so this is going to represent, like, these were some major lessons being learned. People who are coming, you know, down this path have experienced quite a lot. So there's a lot of, like, I'm going to go with, I probably should cover it up. And then I have an Emperor. So I feel like there's an abuse of power here, manipulation and control. And it really is to prevent this process from happening, which is like the ascension process is kind of what I'm picking up here to some extent. And I would say, you know, there is opposition in this. Okay. There is this like needing to have some sort of authority here too. So this would be like the earthly matrix, okay? So it's like ascending out of the matrix, okay? Ascending into your higher self energy, all right? This is like balancing the ego and the natural instincts and how those influence and affect our physical reality. So it's like having to be stronger than your instincts when it comes to like desire. Okay. I feel like maybe somebody did not have any kind of control of their desires and it got the best of them. And I feel like this is a collective message, because I feel like this is not just masculine, it's feminine. And so it's like from the wounded, abandoned energy is how this manifests. And it manifests through unhealed wounds and attachments that many of us are being asked to deal with so that we can release ourselves from ego through ego death, okay? And then this understanding of, you know, we need to have better control of how we show up on this planet. We have to coexist, okay? And so there's rules for coexisting. Okay, I feel like there's some basic shit here that is needing to be dealt with. So again, like there could be a lot of transitions here. All right, I feel like somebody's, you know, caught up in quite a bit of earthly type matters, to the point where, you know, it's affected maybe their reality, and they could be going through an ego death at this time. I am getting that, or a dark night of the soul, something to that extent. I feel like somebody's going to be faced with dealing with their ego and all the things that created, potentially almost like a review. Like maybe this is something that gets reviewed, or this person, you know, sees something. We'll see. Okay, yeah, High Priestess. Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's some hidden secrets or hidden wisdom and knowledge here that maybe there's awareness of this now. Maybe it's kind of come out to the forefront. Maybe someone is coming out to the forefront. Maybe they were hidden in plain sight. I'm getting like you might have been, or someone you know, or this is about someone who could have been hidden in plain sight. I feel like this High Priestess is representing like strong feminine intuition. So that also could be like, you know, someone's intuition, you know, has been guiding them through this process. And that might be something that they're planting seeds about. So maybe there's a sharing of knowledge and wisdom here. I feel like this is also like, you know, someone who's in study, someone who's on a pilgrimage, someone who's like doing the work, right? You could also be someone that people come to, but I feel like what you do is kind of like behind the scenes. You're not maybe out there in front of everybody. I would say you're kind of in between too, so you don't really pick a side per se. Like I feel like you're more objective. You're more in your higher self energy is what I'm getting. Heavy higher self energy. All right. We have the Magician and the High Priestess here. And the Emperor. Okay. We have air, water, fire. And then we have the Four of Wands. Wow. Look at this. This is like a coming together, like a reunion of some kind. Huh. Interesting. You're in a really good position. You're looking really, really good. Look at this, stability and security. You're proud. Like, you have nothing to not be proud of. Like, you've handled yourself so freaking well, and you're a boss, okay? Don't ever get it twisted. Like, you earn the position that you hold, and I feel like there's a level up, because after that's the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like, you know, you're already doing the job that you applied for, right? So continue doing what you came here to do. I feel like this is recognition for you, okay? Yeah, Page of Swords, this is recognition. There's this like, okay, like, we see you now, all right? I feel like you're finally seen for who you truly are. And maybe those who were never in alignment to see you in the first place won't ever see you. And you're okay with that. You are 100% okay with that. All right? You don't need anyone else's approval or validation to be who you are authentically. There is a lot of fast movement here. This could be like messages going back and forth. This could be going in a different direction than where you're currently at. Yeah, so you might have like projects picking up for you. So if things have been kind of slow, I feel like this is like momentum and progress. There is somebody who feels maybe like they have something that they should say, or someone feels a certain kind of way about something. I'm not sure that you are interested in hearing about their sob story. So they're going through it and they realize that they fumbled the bag. I feel like this is an opportunity for you, not for them. And I feel like they almost like can sniff this in the air, okay, that you're being blessed or that you're the blessing, and they want to kind of like Casanova their way or flirt their way, whatever, into your energy, because they know that like when they're around your energy, there's like protection, there's, you know, there's favor here. They want some sort of favor from you. Okay, I feel like it's financial. They literally want to come groveling and beg for money or a place to stay because they've exhausted all the other options. And so they have to like try to, you know, put the tail between their legs and hide it. Do you see the tail here? Yeah, I'm just going to show you all. See the tail? Like, they're going to try to hide their snake ass. But here's the thing, like, you already see them coming. All right, so game over. That's checkmate, bro. 4 of Swords, right? Like, you're not bringing your drama over here. Like, nobody cares over here about your business. Okay, like, there are better things over here to be doing, and it doesn't involve any of your drama. So I feel like this is you, like, you know, eyeing the prize here. You're not interested in anyone else's, like, life that's going on over here. Like, that's for them to deal with. So I feel like, you know, again, like, you understand things are playing out and you're taking a neutral stance. You're like, it is what it is, right? Everybody's responsible for what they create here. And I feel like this energy worked with a bunch of people and created a hot mess, okay? And I feel like, you know, they've got their own stuff that they need to focus on and work through. It doesn't involve you. Like, you're learning new things now. You're moving on to, you know, in a different direction. And I feel like they're in their area and you're in yours. And I feel like you're minding your business and they should probably mind theirs. Let's see what else we get from here. The Tower. Yeah, I feel like things are coming to a halt, a downfall, some sort of like cause for change. Okay. And then we have the Hierophant, Justice. So I feel like divine justice, karmic justice is playing out here. Okay, this King of Pentacles could be a magician. It could be somebody who is interested in the wisdom and knowledge that you share. I'm getting that they could have paid a practitioner as well to try to prevent some sort of movement, right? Or the ability to overcome abandonment, right? So I feel like there's some sort of like shit playing out here that's being dealt with, and it's coming in for a tower, as a tower for whatever this is. Yeah, so I feel like, you know, there's karma playing out over here. The Moon. So this is like someone being exposed. Things, all the secrets are being illuminated here. There's this like fear and anxiety of, you know, the skeletons in the closet coming out. Maybe they wanted to somehow stop you from being able to speak, exist, ascend. All right. I feel like maybe they didn't want you to awaken. All right. Maybe they tried to take you out during your awakening so that you wouldn't be in the position here that you are meant to be in here. I feel like they worked with other people. They may have, celebrated and, put out all kinds of nasty energy towards you. I feel like you use this as the master alchemist to learn. It's like you had energy to learn from, so it's like a thank you, right? Like, all right. Right? Like all the energy, the chaos that they tried to cause for you, you too know how to use chaos magic, and so you used it to your benefit. I feel like they didn't understand this, and I feel like this was part of your training. All right? Yeah. This is some strong psychic energy. There's a lot of energy happening on the spiritual realm here when it comes to this dynamic. All right? Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of like anxiety, fear, delusion, self-deception. All right, so I feel like there might have been like they deceived themselves. Okay, I feel there is this like, I don't know, like I feel like no matter what they did, there was still this like lack energy, like emptiness. All right. I feel like your light, it's powerful, it's bright. I feel like you illuminated where in their lives they felt empty and insecure. I feel like there's a bit of insecurity here. So you may have like been someone who came across them to trigger them and their insecurity so that it contributed towards their healing. All right, you're the Empress. All right, you might have been, that nurturer, that carer, that mother figure, that divine feminine energy that was to teach this person what love is and what it isn't. And as a result of you completing your contract, you have a fresh start, okay, as the Fool. So you have accomplished what you came here to accomplish, and through this experience, you have paid back karmic debt. And as a result, you have a fresh new beginning, a new cycle in your life. So that would be healing your feminine wounding if you're masculine or feminine. Do you understand? It's not so much like you have to be a woman, okay? So take it as like the archetype that it is. The Empress represents like abundance and the motherly energy in our lives and how we show up to be nurturing when we need to, whether sometimes you're having to switch hats, especially if you're a single parent. Even like with our family members, sometimes like the oldest will be, kind of in charge and motherly, and sometimes we have some healing and stuff like that needed in those areas of our life. So it's also about growth and development and creativity and how and what you create from, right? That's the magician, right? Very important is like understanding how all the tools work, right? And knowing which tools to use for what. So there's a need to understand those elements, and they literally are elements. Okay. So we have water, air, earth, and fire, on the magician's table here. Okay. So it's like mastering the elements, and there's like a lot of wisdom and knowledge when it comes to this. Like this is valuable in someone's viewpoint. Okay. From someone's position, this is something that is, a specialty or something that's a mastery of some kind. I would say like spiritual mastery with the Hierophant here. And this is like, it's not just about like the traditions of things like religion, but it's also spirituality and just belief systems in general and how these affect our culture and society. So I feel like with justice here, like we're seeing like a lot of things play out here. And old systems just are not based with a love vibration in mind. Like they're more about like destruction and stuff like that. So false systems that, you know, were built off of pain and suffering no longer can survive in this environment that we now find ourselves in. Ace of Wands. I mean, this is like taking massive initiative, okay? Also, something being invented or discovered. This is also new creations, like on a grand scale. So, all right, let's clarify this Devil card. What do you want to say about the Devil card here? Oh, okay, the Five of Cups is landing all the way over here on the Emperor. So that tells me that this card's related to this card. So sometimes when your cards fall, pay attention to where they land. It kind of depends on, like, you know, sometimes the reader is asking questions and, you know, it's like, who's this devil all about? Like, who's this tied to? And they give you a card and they're like, here, it's tied to this Emperor, this masculine energy over here that could be feminine, you know, gender non-specific, okay? It's just somebody who's like in an energy of like authority or power, okay? It also could be like a decision maker, a leader, someone who's logical, and someone who's like giving order to a situation. I feel like somebody may have tried to emotionally manipulate a situation and now they find themselves in that same energy. That's what I'm getting. And I feel like the reason why I say it's manipulation and control, because the Five of Cups is clarifying the Devil card. All right, and so that tells me like there was ill intent here. There was codependency here. There was emotional duress and pain here. And I would say that it served a purpose, yes. Nothing goes, you know, without purpose, but, you know, there was a need to see things clearly, right? There might have been a bit of over-giving, over-pleasing, and just now there's this depletion energy, and I feel like that represents, you know, what the Devil does. It's like, you know, an energy of waste and take and greed and envy, and it's like all of the things that keep us in our low vibration. This is like a very low vibration, okay? And then I have a high vibration, which would be the Nine of Cups, right? This is like, you know, filled to the brim, like I'm grateful, I'm happy. There's this like wish fulfillment here, wishes coming true. There's having enough to be able to share with others and consideration of others. There's also this like wanting to be or have an appearance of this. So maybe this was this person's motivation, was to appear this, but maybe get there, you know, in a way that isn't very morally sound or ethically supportive of anybody. I feel like this person thought of themselves and only themselves. And I feel like, you know, they hurt people to get to their position. So this could just be like the energy in which that requires balance in our society today. Or this could represent your specific situation, because things do happen with us personally and they do resonate outside of us, because it goes within and it's so without, okay? So we're experiencing a few of these things collectively and individually. Yeah, I'm getting there's balance. Yeah, temperance. This makes total sense. You know, there is a need to kind of like, you know, regardless of the good or the bad, like what's the takeaway in the situation? I feel like the takeaway is like, you know, sometimes, you know, moderation is key. You know, maybe someone is having a hard time like having balance. Maybe they got a little power hungry or a little egocentric or a little like authoritarianism, however you say that word. So I don't know. I feel like there's divine intervention here when it comes to this. Okay, and then the Ace of Swords comes flying out over the Strength card, clarifying temperance. That, yeah, there 100% is divine protection when it comes to this. I would say that there is truth, there's clarity. I feel like there's nothing hidden anymore, or there won't be. All right, I feel like there's this fate versus destiny situation playing out here. Maybe someone sealed their fate. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. There's a lot of things in bloom right now, and it's a beautiful time to see which ones you want to take to the next level, because maybe there's some projects or initiatives or ideas that you're not sure which one to kind of run with. I feel like, you know, maybe spending more time on the details will help kind of like get this organized. All right, I have a feeling it has something to do with like your abilities, your gifts, your business, your medicine, your magic, your special craft, your intuition, your ability to connect, and you know, have access to this wonderful information, and maybe you don't know what to do with it. So I feel like that's for somebody. It has something to do also with like communication and the throat chakra and being able to give and receive information. Okay, so I feel like there's this knowing, this clear, it's like a clear cognizance energy. All right, there's this inner knowing. They want you to trust the inner knowing, trust what you receive. Okay, you're meant to ground it with the pentacles. Okay, 7 pentacles. All right. Okay, that's what okay. And this is all like the theme here is like personal development, challenges, responsibility, you know, all of those things, like your creative responsibilities here and how you move through them. There's this self-mastery here. So whatever you've like created with the 8 of Pentacles, you know, this is something that you're meant to continue to build. So you may be someone who's got a blueprint, a template, some sort of code, some sort of like method, process, some sort of like seeing patterns, sacred geometry, like all of those things. Okay, I could continue on and on and on and on. But I'm saying something here is specific and unique to you, and this is, you know, important. I'm getting like whatever this is, you're meant to do this maybe in like a partnership of some kind, a union. I keep hearing union. Okay, 6 of Cups energy. There's people watching something that you do. You're known in some way for what you do and how you do it. Like maybe you're just like, you know, a powerhouse at work. Like you get it done. Like no matter what the job is, you get it done, and you're known for that. I feel like you're head down, you're focused, you're committed, you're devoted. Like there's no questioning your commitment is what I'm getting. Okay? I feel like you do, you know, focus on what you're meant to focus on. Even though like sometimes there's a need to like organize things. Well, now they're organized, right? They're all in a row. They're like in a sequence, where before they're like all over the place. They're like conceptual ideas. These are actually being made into some sort of physical transition of some kind. So maybe like it's like a widget, or it's something people are able to like maybe you create jewelry, or you know, there's something creative here that people are going to be able to have access to, right? So I feel like once you get it all together, okay, I feel like it'll be good to go. All right, so I feel like you're fine-tuning things. All right, Spirit, let's get a couple more cards and then we're gonna wrap it up. 4 of Pentacles. Okay. But right now you're keeping things close to the chest. Maybe you're doing things behind the scenes here. Somebody could be holding on to information, or someone has evidence of something. I feel like someone's like, what do I do with this? I don't know. Yeah, look at the Chariot in reverse. Someone may be holding on to something until they depart. I don't know. Maybe there's this energy of like, maybe somebody finds themselves in a constricting position, like maybe not wanting to make changes, maybe not wanting to go down a certain direction in life. Maybe they're not willing to make changes. But I'm getting with the Chariot in reverse, I feel like this is like someone who's like almost cowardly. Okay. Someone doesn't have the will. I feel like they're holding on to the past and they're not willing to move forward is what I'm getting. Okay, that's what you want to say. Oh, thank you. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, okay, so someone is still holding on to the past and not willing to move forward. All right, or allowing energy to transition towards peace, like a white flag. Like maybe somebody's thinking about how to make peace of a situation, but this energy is not willing to make changes in their life. All right, so I feel like there was a need to like move on and like cut the losses of this. I'm also getting this could be happening for them now. Like maybe they're with somebody who doesn't want to make changes and they're resisting to change. And now they're in the position of having to assess things and maybe go in another direction than where they are right now. So it's almost like maybe they're now in the Four of Cups energy, feeling, a bit, like unseen, like this isn't working out anymore, where these cups may have been very full and there was a lot of celebrating, partying, and having fun and indulgence here, but now this is all gone. So I feel like this is something about someone's relationships and how their desire to hold on to material items and the 3D has affected their personal relationships. And maybe they're finding themselves separated from people now, or people are trying to move away from them. Okay, I feel like maybe people are like cutting off contact here from this energy. All right. What's this? Yeah, look at Seven of Swords. There's this energy wants to escape their reality. They're not wanting to address what's been going on. And they're trying to escape, but like the damage has been done already kind of thing. I'm getting like burnt bridges over here. It's like the boy who cried wolf too many times, right? At some point, like, you're the wolf kind of energy. The wolf in sheep's clothing. Because all these sheep are dead over here. King of Swords. I feel like this is somebody who maybe is having to deal with some other energy that's holding some sort of truth, some sort of integrity here. I feel like, if they want to run, they won't be able to run far or something like that. I feel like maybe someone maybe got caught up is what I'm getting, because King of Swords is like the police, the firemen, like authority, lawyers, like people of like a high honor ranking, intelligence. Like the King of Swords doesn't play. And, depending on how you come at this King of Swords will be dependent on how he uses your sword, how he uses his sword. So I feel like, this person may find themselves in hot water. And then we have a Queen of Swords. Interesting. I feel like the word is out. Yeah, there's some sort of like, yeah, I would say the word is out. Okay, there's an ending here. There's defeat. And then there's victory. And there's a happy ever after. Okay, so you know who you are, and you know that you deserve this happy ever after. So just know that this is here for you. It's in the energy. Okay? I couldn't pick these cards if I tried. Believe me, 10-10 over here. All right? I feel like you're being celebrated. I feel like you stood your ground and you're standing up for what you believe in, and you're standing up for yourself, most importantly. And what you're doing now creates change in the future, and that's all. That's the whole point. okay, is to focus on creating a better future. All right. And I feel like, you know, you can't always take everybody with you. And that's a hard lesson to learn, but it's one that is important enough to almost share, right? It's your story is worth sharing, because it is like your Goliath moment sometimes, right? Like sometimes that Goliath moment, it leaves a mark. It has a very like poignant energy about it. It has like an exclamation mark. Yeah. That's after this Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like you are a worthy investment. You always have been. I feel like you're a work in progress too. Like nobody's perfect. I feel like if you need resources, they're available to you. Just ask. Okay? They may not always come in the way that you expect. All right? And I do feel like this is you either investing in you, or this is you developing something that is very stable, secure, and abundant. But just know that like good things take time to grow and to build. And I feel like there is this energy of somebody who is looking for someone to share their life with, masculine or feminine, but they've mastered their emotions. They've done their healing work. They've invested in themselves, and they've invested in things wisely. They could be a business owner. I feel like this is also something, yeah, this person has, you know, transmuted their own pain and suffering and trauma into self-love, and they've cultivated this for themselves, and they want to share it with somebody, and this is leading to the 10 of Cups. So, right, all that hard work was worth it. All right, I'm going to end this reading here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I totally had a blast with this. This is I always say like every deck's my favorite deck. This is by far the one that I find I connect really well to. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you on the next reading. Sending lots of love and appreciation and gratefulness for all of you. And like, share, follow, and comment to support the channel.